What's going on, everybody? It's Childish. We're back at it again with the next video for Might and Magic Elemental Guardians. Today we're going to tackle a question that I've been getting quite a bit in the Discord community, which is how do you go about selecting your farmer and which ones did you use as you progress through the game? Now, today's video we're going to talk about two things that I consider when selecting your farmer and go over all the farmers that I use up until this point and basically admit to why this unit that you're seeing right here, which is the one that was has been recommended for everybody to use as a starting farmer, was not one of those units that I definitely did. Okay, so starting out in the game, we get involved, we play the game, and then we start searching around and try to figure out which one's going to be the best one. Of course, this one having that counterattack passive with a shield, everybody's about this. They're like, okay, this is going to work. We can make this do work, right? But honestly, the air stone guard that you get early on in the game has enough self-sustain to do just fine. I was able to take him up to rank 3, which was the level 25 max, and I was easily clearing the floating islands at the normal as well as the advanced stages. I had no problem with that combined with my other two units. Now again, I wasn't like starting out the game and like just starting to level the fodder, right? We were leveling up the units that we have collected over time, in addition to having a couple of extra summons that we've collected via the achievements. Okay, well, during that time I was able to get myself my first 3-star, which happened to be a defender by the name of the Fire Mauler. Now it's of course evolved and he's now the Fire Crusher, but this one here definitely opened up my eyes, right? Early on, we just looked at units and said, hey, we're looking for that self-sustain all day. If it doesn't have self-sustain, like, what's the point of even using it? Well, as you guys might have guessed, you're progressing through the game, you're starting to work on specific units in order to prepare yourself for that Wrath Dungeon, so that you can get yourself those 4 basic sets: the haste, the precision, the lifesteal, and the appeasement. Well, of course, those first 2, haste and precision, you're definitely fighting that with all the different support based units you're using, but you're starting to get a lot of extra lifesteal and a lot of extra appeasement. And so using that lifesteal set with this unit allow me to not only clear that advanced stages a lot faster than I had before, but also be able to clear the nightmare boss without too much issues. Okay, so this unit, if you haven't seen it, provides a 30% chance to dodge when its HP is above 50, and then when it's below 50, you have a divine shield casted that fully protects them for 1 turn. So literally any kind of damage that one unit does, it will provide that divine shield when it's under HP. So it's nice because it's like a variable that changes in your favor if he gets super low. And so, as you might have guessed, combining it with that lifesteal set would allow it to keep it alive and be able to take advantage of the passive when things get a little scary. Now, of course, it wouldn't be a crazy unit, right, if there wasn't something to kind of balance it out. And so this skill right here, single target ability that provides attack buff, the defense break, as well as a skill that ignores enemy defense. So this got me very excited as far as a possible farmer, because when you think about farmers, they're generally very, very tanky, very slow, and don't do a lot of damage. They just can withstand a lot of damage. Well, this one here had an ability that can ignore defense, but obviously it was at the sacrifice of his HP. So that obviously screamed, use the lifesteal glyphs that you've been collecting over time and take advantage of it, because ignoring defense, taking that whole defense element out of the question allows you to do more damage, and if you're using the lifesteal stat, you're going to generate even more back. So again, combining the lifesteal stat with this to balance out this sacrifice into the HP actually did really well. The first skill has a chance to either evolve into a defense buff or a critical chance. Early on in the game, I was really, really upset, honestly, about the fact that I didn't land the critical rate. I got the defense buff, but when you think about the way how this unit is generally, should be intended to build, he is a very unique unit that has a way of just essentially, staying alive in rough situations, right? The one thing that I ran into as I progressed is that even though this divine shield is really nice, it's only available for 1 turn. So considering how low his base speed is comparison to some of the other units that we'll find while clearing content, those first couple of waves, you're going to get hit a couple of times and maybe get low on HP, but after you do your hit, and if you didn't kill everybody, right at the beginning, you're still going to have 3 to 4 hits coming in, and after we prevent the damage, we're just going to keep on taking damage, because that divine shield only lasts for 1 turn until he can get a chance to proc it, do his second skill, proc a lot of HP from that ignore defense, and get his HP back up here. So obviously the 30% chance to dodge is really nice, but again, even though the lifesteal combination worked really good, it still kind of had its own cons, where the speed was the aspect that really held me back. So moving on to this. The next farmer that I use, and I'm not going to spend too much time on this one because you guys already kind of know, like, this is just a standard kind of thing. I pulled a natural 4-star that had an AoE taunt with a silence on it, so it obviously made things really easy for me to decide what I want to use, because I knew that being a natural 4-star with a pretty unique kit for PvP, single target reset with a AoE taunt and damage reflection, damage mitigation, and a first skill stun. Like, this was obviously going to be a really good unit in multiple aspects of the game. So I used it early on, but honestly, if I didn't, I would have gone to my next unit that I'm going to showcase, okay? Which was the unit that I used for the next farmer actually was the Earth Feather Core. If I can find it here. Where's my Earth Feather Core? Okay, so this was actually, if you guys can see it, you can't see it because my chair's in the way, but this was my second 5-star, okay? And why was it my second 5-star over all the other support-based units out there? Well, this kind of gets in line with my second thought of things to consider when building specific farmers. Take a look at this kit overall, across the board, and ask yourself one question: is this unit that you're investing in right now, could it provide you even more assistance in other aspects of the game? Can this unit be useful for you if you invest a lot into it? It will help you raise up that fodder, but you're going to get a lot out of it, not just for the fodder leveling, but for other parts of the game. And so, without question, the Earth Feather Core is one of the best AoE poisons, if not the best natural 3-star AoE poisoner in the game. But when you look at it all day, the AoE poison, the ability to strip beneficial effects and amplify the damage, as well as the opportunity to provide additional DPS by means of this single target poisoning. This was an evolve, so you might not get lucky in it, but even though we didn't have it, without question, it was a really easy decision to get this one 5-star because the kit was just simply amazing. I had elemental advantage over the boss in the floating islands, and I was able to use this for every single thing I do. This is literally one of my top units in the game by far, right? Now, in addition to messing around with that, I think what made it work so good was not just the fact that it has a really interesting kit to allow it to do well, but it's the way that I build it. When we think about the downside of the Fire Mauler, while it had a really unique kit for that unit, one of the things that was kind of a con for it was the lack of speed. So when we think about a turn-based RPG, having that sets of turn advantage, and we got the upper hand because we have the ability to put those glyphs on it, I'm able to get myself a certain amount of stats or a certain amount of speed that allows me to literally lap the opponent, right? Lap the enemies there when we're clearing content. So not only was the kit amazing for this one, but just having a high amount of speed early on helped out quite a bit. Now, of course, the speed that you're seeing right now this was obviously way higher than it was when I was farming it out. I was probably in the vicinity of like 85 speed to 100 when I first got started. But again, when you think about the majority of the units having that 60, 65, like 70 base speed, having 85 speed, 90 speed, 95 speed, 100, that's a pretty good bonus or pretty good boost to speed, just as far as overall turns that you yield versus the opponent, right? The other units that I played around with when I first got it was this Kabuki Ninja, right? And so I asked myself, well, if the Earth Feather Core can do well because of its kit overall and the amount of speeds that it's getting, why not take a look at speed scaling units that you literally build to have generate you more turns by means of the build, right? The speed, and what kind of unique kits that they have to make it work. So in this one here, we're gonna show in the video how it worked for me. And so if you guys ever have this one and you have progressed in the game and you have collected yourself some decent glyphs or whatnot, you can consider building it, because again, it works pretty well. So 40% chance to recover the turn, and then we have an AoE with a decreased critical chance. And this skill, I'm gonna evolve this one for you guys so you can see the difference in damage for you on the video, but I'm gonna just show it with you just with the glyphs that it has. and we're kind of sitting there with stats now. Again, I understand that I have put a little bit more investment into it, right. I got a lot more yellow glyphs and purple glyphs, but I'm going to be completely honest with you. Prior to having all these yellow purple glyphs, I was doing everything with green glyphs across the board at plus 10 with the lifesteal set. I've obviously improved them over time, but they still, I mean, the unit still worked well because of the passive and the speed I was able to get. Even though I had yellow glyphs, I was still managing to be around the like 100 or 110 speed and did just fine considering how many turns I was gaining. So now, mind you, it's gonna seem a little different because we have a level 44 wizard, so we're gaining a lot of we have a lot of added DPS here. But again, it kind of goes back to what we're taking advantage of here. This unit has not only the passive, but has a low cooldown on that AoE. So we're getting more opportunities to land an AoE, and more AoE on a life steal set means more damage. When we think about our builds with our starting out, beginner teams, we're definitely we're oriented. We're definitely invested on support-based units. We're very support heavy when it comes to our composition. So because of that, I consider going with the Chimera build on my wizard so that I can balance out the amount of DPS that I'm bringing. With regards to the support-based team that I have going on. So. Of course, every single turn that gets generated between my unit as well as the opponent allows my wizard to obviously increase his bar so he can take a turn. And so kind of watching it right now, we're getting a couple of AoE attacks in here, but over time we're going to be able to use our wizard to its advantage because we've got it built in a DPS fashion, and we're able to kind of take on the boss without too much of a loss on our unit here. Of course, it's all based on RNG when it comes to the damage that we're doing from him, but the additional turns that we're gaining from this is allowing me to take him, take out a little bit more DPS and do some more HP. But also, it's not just the additional turns, but if you see the times that we're not getting additional turns, we're still almost lapping the boss because of the amount of speed that we have. So speed scaling units that have interesting kits can definitely work, and that's what I wanted to showcase to you. You guys seen my last summoning session, one of the things that now I'm looking to build is the Fire Succubus. So this is like going to be the next evolution of my composition. This one has the ability to recover the additional turn if we kill it. So if we build it in a certain fashion that allows us to basically, take out these units, relatively easy, then we're just going to be generating so many additional turns that we'll be able to constantly take them out. And if we don't take them out, we're going to get ourselves that buff that provides the attack and speed to allow our first skill as well as our second skill, which whenever is available, in order to do even more damage here. So that's going to be it, guys. I hope that it helped you out. Again, to reiterate what we're talking about here, even though there are certain units that work really, really good for farming because of whatever self-sustain that they bring, don't just look at the self-sustaining aspect. Look at the kit overall, and then consider, out of all the units that you have available that could potentially work for farmings, which one is going to provide you the most aspects of the game here, right? With the Earth Feather Core, it was an easy choice because it can farm for me, but it also is going to assist me in any TOT or anything like a Wrath Thunder. It's going to help me out for everything because AoE poisoners are meta. When it comes to the Earth Ninja, like, it's obviously a very, very strong farmer, but it may be a little lackluster when it comes to PvE. However, having additional turns on the PvP side could be really beneficial, especially if I'm creating the composition that's getting the first turn. I lay out the attack buff with the defense break from like a Water Masaru Monk, and then come at you with some single target hard healing units like this Earth Ninja as well as the Fire Succubus here. I definitely can use it for that and whatnot. So ask yourself that, and hopefully that will assist you in making your guys' choice. Okay, that's going to be it, guys. Thank you all so much for tuning in. It's your boy Childish, Childish Plays checking out. Take care, and we will see you all in the next one. I'm out.